Jeremy Kennedy back here on the program is going to be finally making his PFL debut on May 23rd. He's taking on Alexandre Bezerra at PFL 2. Jeremy, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, of course. So after we did our last interview, they like totally announced your opponent and everything like that. So, I'm going to reference that because you knew about that fight like pretty much then. You knew you were going to be on this card. How have you structured this camp? Because I know you've been bouncing back and forth between BC and Las Vegas.
Yeah, I've known about this fight for a while. I've known I was fighting on that date for even longer, and then I got the opponent shortly after. So, yeah, I've lots of preparation for it. I had tons of time to, schedule everything. I pretty much put in about a 10-week camp. I mean, I'm training hard before that as well, like year round, but I really started dialing it in for this specific date about 10 weeks out. Just like with my strength and conditioning coach and when to do what and getting my weight where I want it and stuff like that. And I liked it because so far out, I could kind of focus more on performance rather than calorie deficit and carb depleting. Like I was eating super healthy, but all the energy, eating as much as I could, just really feeling good, and training hard, full 3-4 times a day just because I was so fueled. And then I could kind of get the hard part done early, get in fight shape, get ready to go, by 6-7 weeks out. And then I kind of started tapering down and just on the diet part of things. And now I'm out here in Vegas, and I have been for the last month or so, just over. I flew home for like the odd weekend, but pretty much all 7 to 8 weeks I've been out here. Yeah, feeling good, man. Ready to go.
That's great. I know one of the other things you mentioned last time was, you were working with Ali Abdelaziz now. How has that been? Because I know he's in the gym with you all the time, but I know one of the things he does is he like checks up on the fighters like all the time. Have you experienced that as being part of his team?
Yeah. Just lately he's been traveling lots just because of all the UFC cards and the PFL this week and stuff like that. So he's been in and out of the gym a lot. But yeah, it's a different world now. Finally, having a legit management team, and it's not just Ali. Like he's got a lot of people that work with
Puna
him
and Dan Ige and those guys
yeah,
too, who you train with, which
exactly.
is kind of a benefit because
Yeah.
if they don't do something, it's like, hey, you see them at the gym the next day or something. But yeah, not that they do that,
No,
but that's still,
absolutely.
yeah, it's convenient.
Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, like all the small things, from travel dates to making sure my medicals are done, everything's like that. It's just kind of like through one avenue, rather than having a bunch of different people messaging me and emailing me and all that stuff. It's kind of one avenue that I just deal with, and it's easy. It's how it's supposed to be done. I'm not supposed to worry about any of that stuff anymore, and that's what you pay for management. My past management stuff, it's just forward emails, and then I would be getting it all twice, and it's just yeah, it's
Makes it a
different.
lot
There's
easier.
levels to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's levels to that as well.
Do you train with him as well? Because I saw him doing the other day. I saw him doing some judo throws with Dan Ige.
Yeah, I do train with him. He's always in the gym too at Extreme and sparring, grappling, and all that stuff. So he's fun. He's good. He's a good body to have around as well. Just for business side and for training.
Yeah. Let's talk about your opponent, Alexandre Bezerra. Probably most known for fighting in Bellator. He's part of their early tournaments. What do you know about him? How do you feel like you match up against him?
I know lots about him now, but yeah, he's a good opponent. He came in near the end of the season last year, and instantly he was one of the top guys. Just as soon as he was signed, he's good. He's got a good recognition. So I'm excited to be debuting against him. Get this guy out of the way, go and put the rest of the featherweights on notice. As soon as I come in and take out one of the top guys early on. And style wise, I think I match up great with him. He's your typical, heavy-handed, not too technical on the feet, but he's a brawler. He hits hard, and then he's got his black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's a submission savvy kind of guy. Where I think he kind of lacks, not necessarily lacks, just is not as at par as his wrestling, and he tends to fade a little bit too. So I think my in between and my transitioning and me putting it all together is where it's going to separate us. I think on the feet I'll be a little bit more technical and longer, and have him swinging at air and be able to dictate where the fight is huge. And I think I'll just be a little bit too much of an athlete for him.
Training camp, we talked a bit about it there. Have there been any sort of main training partners for this camp? And anyone in particular you've been working with a little bit more than others?
Yeah, the usual crew at Extreme, but I've been working a lot with Dan Ige, mostly. I find he's a good look, he's a feather, like a fellow featherweight, he's good. He's got his black belt in jiu-jitsu too as well. He's heavy-handed. And so I just work with him a lot in the sparring, and then just everyone, when it comes to grappling and wrestling and all the guys at Extreme, but I've been working specifically with, Kyle Reyes and Dan Ige for my sparring rounds.
Okay. One of your teammates back home, or someone that I know comes into Rev every once in a while, is Cole Smith, and he just won this past weekend
Yeah.
at UFC Ottawa. What did you think of his performance? Pretty cool to see that he's made it to the big show.
Yeah, I'm happy for him. He actually came out and trained here for a week
Well,
leading up
he's
to
here.
that
He's
fight.
actually in Vegas now because he's
Yeah, I saw him yesterday. Yeah, yeah. So it's cool. It's cool to kind of bring him in and let him tell him to take advantage of the PI. And I was kind of like with him with the whole way up leading up to his fight, and then yeah, he's awesome debut against a tough guy. It's good that he was a Canadian, Mitch Gagnon, the Canadian vet, to give him that kind of recognition within Canada. What he's deserved. He's just because of his record, he didn't have a lot of fights. That he wasn't ranked as high as other Canadian bantamweights, but I think going in there and beating Mitch kind of gives him that credibility that he deserves. Now it's moving on to the other UFC feather
bantamweights. Yeah.
bantamweights.
Although he looks like a featherweight, he's a tall guy. I couldn't believe how big he was in
Yeah, he's
person
a
when I
tall
interviewed
guy.
him.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's got a big frame and he uses it well. So I'm excited for him. He's new blood to the bantamweight division.
Speaking of frame, by the sounds of it, the cut's going well because you've had a lot of notice for this fight, and there hasn't been any crazy traveling like you had with Brave.
That's what I'm excited about too. I was booking looking into the flights that I kind of wanted to take, and it's a 5-hour direct flight from here to New York. So that's new for me, not traveling across the world. And usually that takes me a little bit to prepare for those. Like getting 24 hours of travel, flight food, and all that kind of stuff, and get my weight extra low and water loading while you're sitting in the middle seat of a 10-hour flight. It's just not ideal. So this is what I'm really excited about. My weight's nice and low, and yeah, I leave early Sunday, and I'll be there Sunday mid afternoon, and business as usual. So I'm really excited about this cut. I think it's going to be a little bit easier than most other ones.
As far as your corner, I imagine Eric Nixek is going to be there. Anyone else going to be in your corner?
Yeah. So my other coach Eddie, he's going to be in Rochester with Julian, but he actually has to head back because he's got a pretty busy schedule. But Eric's going to be there with Kevin Lee, in New York already, so he's going to meet me out there, and then I'll be flying out with my fiance. She'll be coming out here the day before, and then we'll fly together, and then I'll have Dan from back home.
Dan Golkar, nice. Okay, that's good.
Cornered me in Saudi Arabia, my last one. So flying him out from Vancouver, and then my strength and conditioning coach, he's coming out as well. Just it'd be nice to have like a crew.
Yeah.
All my other times flying across the world, it's pretty hard to have like a crew of your own. It's always just me and one other guy, and so now I'm excited to have yeah, just little group of us out there. So it'll be good. There'll be about 4 or 5 of us.
How do you see this fight playing out on May 23rd? Are we going to see another finish? That's been your thing the last couple fights.
Yeah, hey, and now the points, man. It's got to be a finish. That's what I'm gunning for. I'm not holding back. And I think for this fight, that style is going to work well. He fights well at a slow, dictating the pace, very traditional, Muay Thai style. But when I get right in his face, up, downs, level changing. If he's shooting, I'm returning right away and reshooting, and you just got to cause chaos a little bit with him, And I think that'll lead to a finish, and that'll lead to some points here. 5, 6 points leading into my next fight, and yeah, so I expect to finish. And I don't know where it is. It could be a ground and pound, could be submission, could be a knockout. There's too many tools to use. Just sucks with no elbows. That kind of takes away one of my favorite tools. But I think I'll switch it up and start using some hammer fists.
Who's the toughest fighter? Who do you think is the biggest challenge in the season for you? I'm sure you've had a chance now to look at the entire roster.
Yeah, and a few guys fell out. I saw Sun Sao just fell out, and they brought in a new guy. And then Seilert's opponent took forever to get announced, but I saw him too, and they're all right, but I think they're a little. They haven't fought. There's a lot of guys with good records, but padded, and I'd say that lightly. Everyone's tough in this division, but there's a few guys that have good records. But then if you go and dig a little bit into them, it's you can see that they haven't faced the same level of competition. Um, but then there's the usual, top four. I think from last year are all tough guys. They have to be the favorites early on. You got Bezerra's being one of them, Harrison. I think sorry, not Gilpin.
Alex Gilpin, yeah, he's fighting Lance Palmer.
Yeah, I don't think he matches too well against Lance. I think Lance is going to run right through him. I think he's just like a lesser version of Lance, and Lance is better than him everywhere. But Lance is another tough guy in the division, and Movlid, the Russian from who fought and won. I remember watching him fight Herbert Burns. He's pretty tough, and Damon Jackson's another tough guy. So I think they're about half and half. There's like 5 or 6 guys on the top side, and then 5 or 6 on the bottom. Where you got the Brazilian guy, the 33-1. That's another padded record kind of guy there, and then Seiler. I would love to have him next. He was runner up, but I think I match up great with him. Yeah, so it's pretty hard, but I think it's kind of split down the middle. There's about 5 or 6 guys that are going to be tough fights, and then there's 5 or 6 guys that are tough fights, but not as experienced and fought as higher level caliber guys as the other half.
How's the wedding planning going?
It's kind of on hold. In the early stage of my camp, we were all in venue. We've got a date, August 15th, 2020. We know where, we got a venue, and then so it's kind of just put on hold for now. There's not much more we can do just yet. And then after this season, we'll have a good chunk of time to really get everything dialed in.
Okay, that makes sense. And I guess the plan is, you're just going to basically keep staying in Vegas because for this entire season, because it's just easier to get around, I would think. And I imagine you'll go home a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be going home like after the fight. There's a few weeks that's kind of like a little buffer time, and I'll be making sure I spend at home. Then the biggest thing was just staying in shape. Like as soon as this fight's done, we're already 9 weeks out for the next one. But I would have just fought. Wait on the stay in shape so I can. It's kind of turning into like more of a 6-week camp. And have your few weeks of kind of deload, and then yeah, same thing. On from July, you'll have August, a few weeks, kind of relaxing. But the playoffs are in Vegas, so it's gonna be nice and easy for me. But I'll be just back and forth between here and Vegas and home.
Well, as long as you're in Vegas early July, that's all I care about because you better believe I'm going to get my rematch at Mario Kart.
Oh yeah, I would hope so, man. It's got to be a sour taste in your mouth, So
A little bit, yeah. Although Arjun Buller completely schooled me in NBA Jam, so that one I can't. That was even worse. That was like I don't know what's going on right now, but I got to figure it out.
That's iconic. Mario Kart's iconic. Those ones that I hold that victory pretty proud. So.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll be here early July for International Fight Week.
Yeah, I'll be there for that. Yeah, I'm going to go cover that card, so we'll figure it out then. But at the very least, I can come out to Langley and just do it in in your home court. So we'll see what happens. Yeah. But in the meantime, it's PFL 2. It's coming up here May 23rd. You can watch it on ESPN Plus. Jeremy, always appreciate the time, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours.
I appreciate it, man. Yeah, just mostly all my content goes through Instagram, Jeremy Kennedy 145. Yeah, that's where I'll be pumping everything out. Fight week coming up. And as for sponsors, I got 3 main sponsors that have been helping me out. Bender Painting, they've been loyal from the beginning. So they're always on board. Oxygen, and so it's pretty cool. I got 3 big sponsors for me here.